Women in this country still make 77 cents on the dollar for what men make. So if women don't make less than men?
Actually, if you start looking at the numbers, Rachel, there are lots of reasons for that.
Wait. Well, don't tell me the reasons are. Do women make less than men for doing the same work?
No, because...
Wow.
Well,
okay.
Well, for example, men work an average of 44 hours a week. Women work 41 hours a week. Men go into professions like engineering, science, and math that earn more. Women want more flexible
Listen, this is not a math is hard
No. Yes, it is, actually.
No, it isn't.
Well,
No, listen.
All right, let Rachel frame it, though, the way you
right now,
laid it out.
women are making 77 cents on the dollar for what men are making.
But that's not true. If so,
let Rachel make her point.
Every greedy businessman in America would hire only women, save 25%. And I love how passionate you are. I wish you were as right about what you're saying as you are passionate about it. I really do. For example, may I share one fact with you? When you look at, for example, single women working in America today between the ages of, I think, 40 and 64, who makes more, men or women, on average? Men make $40,000 a year. Women make 47. When you take out the marriage factor, look at some economics. My point here is that we're manufacturing a political crisis.
Is a man less of a man if he can't change a flat tire?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is a woman less of a woman if she can't cook a meal from scratch?
We're biased. We're women.
No, that's not a good answer.
Do you believe we're in a transitional phase between women being old-fashioned and being independent?
Yes, we're already there.
If so, what are we transitioning to?
Feminism.
I hope we're transitioning to women and men being equal.
We're transitioning into a lot of women being cat ladies.
Do you think a woman would be welcomed at a woman's march if she's pro-life or has traditional values?
Nope.
So do feminists really care
Not
about
nowadays.
all women or just the women who agree with them?
Feminists do not care about women.
So is it really about women's choice?
No, because it's not allowing each individual woman to decide for herself. It's not respecting each individual woman. It's conforming to a propaganda.
Bat an eye, let alone dwell on it. My friends and I have a simple rule. A man has better things to do than waste time chasing someone who isn't interested. And guess what? It's becoming the norm. Men aren't putting energy into trying to turn a no into a maybe. As one of my friends put it, why should I beg for someone to accept me when I'll be the one stuck paying for everything? Harsh, but it's the reality. Modern dating has turned into a childish game of cat and mouse, with women enjoying the power of dangling their no like a carrot in front of men. Whether they're just out of college or nearing 40, they thrive on the drama of keeping men emotionally locked in. They love the power trip, casually bragging to their friends, "I can have whatever I want, whenever I want. There's always a guy ready to beg."
Alright, woman says, do you notice that men are no longer persuasive? Once they ask you out on a date and you say no, That's it, with a little frustrated emoji. And guy replies, top comment, if I want to play games, I got a PlayStation. Oh, that's great. Well done from this guy. Yeah, you know what, man? If a girl's not interested, don't bother. Do your own thing. Focus on your own goals, your own purpose, or your PlayStation. There are better things to do than try to chase women these days. And ladies out there, a lot of guys are also worried about the whole Me Too movement, false allegations, and being labeled a creep. Women throw around the word creep for men so often these days that if a girl says no, yeah, leave her alone. Bye.
So wait a sec. How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure. Like, none of this stuff in the studio is built or maintained by women. Do you know that like 90% of infrastructure jobs are still held by men? And that if you look at the top 20 jobs held by women now in 2024 versus 1924 are almost the exact same. So women have had 100 years to do whatever they want, and they still do the same 20 jobs they did 100 years ago. Other than we switched out farm labor for HR work. But other than that, we're secretaries, nurses, daycare ladies, early childhood education, administrative assistants, retail workers, all the same shit that we were a century ago. So,
Ladies, here's the news. Males are no longer playing. The simping period is officially over, and that ship has sailed. Men have realized they have a plethora of possibilities, and they would rather travel the world than waste their time with someone who still believes that being hard to get is cool. What's the kicker? Women acknowledge doing this. They have openly acknowledged that no does not necessarily imply no. It can occasionally be interpreted as, I want him to beg. Like, really? Toddlers are more adept than this at comprehending the notion of no. What comes next? For mature ladies who are unable to speak like adults, a decoder ring? It's genuinely absurd. Men are content to move on without the showmanship since they understand that no means not interested. Let's face it, if someone is out here, it's not the losing person who is engaging in mind games.
I cheated on my ex.
Yeah, I hurt him a lot because I'm also his first girlfriend and everything.
What was it that made you want to cheat on him?
I always wanted to like self-destruct, self-sabotage, but he was like best boyfriend. He treated me right. I don't know what happened, and that's my biggest regret.
Since our separation, I've been with someone who is better in bed. So Jen, after the breakup, there was someone else who was even better.
When we broke up, I was with someone that just gave me everything in the short amount of time that for 8 years I couldn't even feel with him.
I thought I gave my all, because that's all I knew.
We're like almost 30 now, like we should have like a family and kids. Or I mean like it's expected of me to have family and kids.
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
You want a guy to be a provider, correct? When you get married, how much of the household income do you want to be contributing?
Like money-wise?
Yeah. You want him to be the sole breadwinner, correct?
Yes.
You think you'll be able to get that, correct?
Yes.
How many men do you think can go out into the dating marketplace and want to provide zero financially and expect to get a partner?
I don't know.
Very, very few. The vast majority of women, as a lot of the women here answered, I want a guy who makes at least as much as me or more. Or I want a guy to be the sole provider. So could it be the case that the reason that there's a patriarchy and that men occupy the highest positions of power and the most desirable jobs and make the most money is because there's a mating pressure on men that does not exist in women?
When women say no, it's rarely the simple response you may expect. Most of the time, there's a secret agenda someplace. It's a standard friend zone maneuver to start, in the hopes that you will continue to give them your undivided attention while they figure things out. They will say no to keep you in orbit, circling about like a satellite. The second trick? It's an automatic scapegoat tactic. They can subsequently say, well, I did tell you no. You just didn't take the hint after giving you a sly no. You've been taking care of yourself, paying bills, and making repairs in the interim, but you haven't shown any signs of commitment. It's a devious little trap that holds you in place long enough to extract whatever they need, without ever really giving anything back.
It wasn't because he was a completely different person. It was because he got tired of trying. He got tired of putting in the effort. He got tired of putting in all the sacrifices that he was doing to make you happy, and he probably was not getting the same effort in return. That's what he got tired of. 2 years. Sound like this man was doing everything and beyond to make sure that you was okay. And what did you do in response to what he was giving you? How were you giving him the same effort that he was giving you? How are you reciprocating the same effort that he was giving you? Sounds like you didn't do much, because she even said, that fed my ego. And one thing about females, once they get a massive head, they get a massive ego, you can't tell them shit. It goes in one ear and out the other.
The twist is that men have finally figured out the game. Women are now realizing that they are running out of willing, nice guys to string along with, and they are tired of falling for this cliched bait-and-switch tactic. In a desperate attempt to get another opportunity, some are even going back and DMing the guys they previously ghosted or casually said no to. Now, it's a full-on scramble. It turns out that when you wind up alone, playing hard to get isn't so cute. I have personally been there. After leaving my message on read when I asked a female out, she returned a few days later with a well-crafted no in my direct messages. Perhaps she just liked making me struggle for it, or perhaps she wanted to brag to her pals. In any case, my one-word response to her was, okay. After a few weeks, she returned, bringing up past exchanges in an attempt to give the impression that she could be interested. I didn't care. Game over. I left her to read and didn't turn around.
I had an ex that did everything to pursue me. I am talking wine and dine, have these deep emotional moments with me. I mean, we would cry together. He would write these love letters to me. I mean, one day I remember saying I was sick, and maybe like 20 minutes later, there was a knock on my door, and my doorman came up, and he had delivered soup for me. Oh. And I think even a humidifier. This is so random. I was sick and like clean, like, a whole thing. Yeah, right. And this was like the norm for the first 2 years of our relationship, to the point where even his family and his friends were like, this is a changed man. We've never seen this version. So, and that fed my ego. That made me feel like, oh my gosh, like I've changed him. He's totally different. This is real. This is true. And then 2 years into the relationship, once the love experience, the in-love experience had ended, he was a completely different person. He was cold.
It's one thing for a woman to say no to a date. That's her choice. And not every modern woman is going to vibe with a confident guy like me. No hard feelings, no problem. But groveling, simping, begging to turn that no into a yes, that's never going to happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. I'd rather wear socks with sandals than lose my self-respect like that. Just thinking about having to look my boys in the eye after stooping that low is enough to make me cringe. Here's where it gets interesting. Women love to flip the script when men finally walk away. Suddenly, it's all about his reaction, not their toxic behavior. They'll whine about how he changed or stopped caring, conveniently forgetting that their own egos wrecked the relationship. Newsflash. Men don't pull away because they're bored. They pull away because they're done being the only one putting in the effort for someone who's stopped showing up. Here's the usual pattern. At first, the guy's all in, treating her like a queen. Maybe even too much so. His friends and family are probably side-eyeing him like, man, he's really doing all this. And she's loving the attention, feeling like she hit the jackpot. But after a while, the entitlement kicks in. She stops putting in the same effort, assuming his devotion is just expected. The guy, realizing he's giving and getting nothing in return, starts pulling back. Why stick around when your efforts are being taken for granted? Then comes the surprise. When he finally leaves, she's shocked. Tears, tantrums, the whole drama. But really, what did she expect? Did she think he was just going to be a loyal puppy, waiting around for scraps of attention? No, ma'am. Men aren't sticking around where they're not wanted anymore, and honestly, it's about time. Women figured this out long ago. They don't stay in situations where they aren't appreciated. Men are just catching up, but now that they have, the era of simping is officially over. And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.